Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V, where we are intentional about connecting you with other entrepreneurs that have overcome and want to provide value to the audience. It's Dr. V here, where our coaching program teaches nurses to work from their computers anywhere around the world, making money and owning their own time, building profitable nurse coaching and consulting businesses. So today we have Drumeka Rollerson. So hey, Drumeka, how are you doing?
Thank you for having me.
So let me ask you a little bit about who you are. So give us a brief bio.
All right, so I'm Drumeka. I am a mom of 3 and a wife, and I have been nursing since 2006. My specialty is ICU, which I absolutely love. And I have my bachelor's in nursing. So right now, I currently do travel nursing. And I have my own business. So I first started a nonprofit in 2006, and then I had another business, t-shirt business, and currently I do consulting and teach CPR. So I offer certifications to the community through American Heart, American Red Cross, and ASHI. And I offer training with BLS, ACLS, and PALS so far.
Sweet. So tell me a little bit about a nonprofit. I don't think we ever talked about that.
So I started a nonprofit back in 2016 with under Black Nurses Rock at the time. I started a chapter here in my area. We had about 60 nurses. We still have that chapter here. We've been able to give out almost $10,000 locally in scholarships to nursing students in our area. And we also just focus on developing nurses, tutoring, them while they're in school, offering tutoring services, career development skills, educational lunch and learns or dinner and learns and things like that. So
sweet. Okay, all right. So when we first started talking, you started talking. One of the things that you wanted to highlight is nurse burnout. So tell me a little bit about that, because you've been doing travel nursing for how long now?
So I started travel nursing in 2020.
Okay.
I actually didn't plan to do travel nursing. I decided that I was going to resign from my staff nurse job because I was just fed up and couldn't take it anymore. And I was going to just do my own business and just see how that goes. Like, just because I had my business already, but what my plan was to just try to do it full time, right? And then COVID hit. And so the world shut down and I wasn't able to do that. And then I had a friend that said, hey, my recruiter's looking for some more nurses for this assignment in Orlando. And I ended up taking that, and that's how I got into it.
Gotcha. So now tell me a little bit about nurse burnout, like your experiences with that.
Okay, so nurse burnout is a real thing. I think I've been burnt out more than just with COVID, like prior years, because of the demands of nursing and all of the things. Like, you're the nurse, but you also have to be the CNA sometimes because there's no help, or ancillary help for you. You have to be the lab and draw the labs. You have to be the dietitian and call down to get their trays or take their trays to them. And it's just the way nursing has evolved is that everything is thrown on the nurse. So many things. Like, you're one person, but you're doing almost like 8 different jobs. you know. And on top of that, you have the ratios are ridiculous. They're pushing those. So you have more patients, you have more responsibilities, and you have to be the eyes and ears for the doctor, right? Which is not safe. It's critically short. So you're always asked to do overtime or, pick up a shift or this or, or even if you don't pick up, every day you work, you're short staffed. So you're doing more, you know. So all of those things lead to burnout, you know. Nurses pretty much have a hard time saying no, even if they have 6 patients already with high acuity, and then they say, oh, we need you to take another patient. A lot of nurses is not going to buck on that. They may say, deep sigh, and, be like in their head, I really cannot take another patient. But the way nursing is, it's almost like we're scared to stand up for ourselves and say, it's no way I could safely take another patient. The acuity of my patients are high right now, and it's not safe. A lot of nurses won't do that out of fear.
It's interesting that you said that, because one of the things that I remember doing earlier in my nursing career is that I actually refused to take a patient and was told that I was insubordinate because I refused to take that patient.
Yeah.
And was made to take that patient.
Yep.
And so I think that that's one of the things that really, really is number one. That's number one. Number two, you have, like you said, I mean, literally when everybody else is not doing it, like you're the respiratory therapist, you're giving all the treatments, you're drawing all the blood. So you're the phlebotomist, you're calling down the dietary. So you're the dietitian. I mean, you're not the dietitian, but you are, making sure the person gets whatever they need, also along with being the eyes and the ears of the physician. And that's a whole big thing. And then they wonder why nurses are not, willing to do all of that. Albiana Brewster, she's on there. She said, hi, Queens. And Nurse Adrian said the gaslighting oppression within healthcare places our license and patients at risk. And it does.
Yeah.
And so the reality is that we have to be very clear. And one of the things that I knew without a shadow of a doubt is that and I say this all the time, when that lady that was in, I think she was in Washington, and she said that we were playing cards during our breaks. I remember thinking, she's lost her mind. And then I shared the post. And when I shared the post, I remember like nurses on my timeline just coming in. And I was like, oh, they done got it. So, sort of like we're siblings in that, sometimes, which is absolutely unacceptable, but the bullying, but then you also get, if you come for us, you're going to get us, right? And so we have to understand our own power within this whole nursing world.
Yeah.
Because we have a large amount of power. And if you move enough nurses, then literally it's a game changer. But we have to understand for that. And so Nurse Adrian said, are we being paid 20 to 60% more for taking those additional patients? Who makes the money? The C-suite makes the money, right?
Exactly.
And so, because we get paid per the hour, right? And so we have to understand that we have the power in order to be able to do that. And so that's my rant for the day. And so, so it's truly a thing. And I think that we have to be more intentional about not accepting things that we don't feel comfortable accepting,
Right.
And we have a high acuity emergency department, and more than 3 patients is too much, in my opinion, right? And it's this create, and then the nurses is not fully supported by unions, is what Tamisha Good said.
Exactly.
And so we have to be very clear on that. So, and I'm going to ask a question. So do you have unions there?
We do not.
You do not. I don't.
We don't have any in Florida.
I don't either.
We need some, but we don't have any here.
But now I've never understood this. Okay, so maybe you can help me understand, because I kind of am. Maybe you know a little bit more than I do and have a little bit more insight. Okay, so when it comes to unions, right? So you have a union, and they decide that they're not going to do whatever they need to do. I mean, the hospital decides they're not going to do whatever they need to do, and then the nurses go on strike. So whenever the nurses go on strike, this is what I've never understood, and this is probably going to cause a little bit of controversy, but I've never understood how people, like the nurses the ones who are crossing the strike lines, they're in danger. Okay, because the other people out here who are other nurses, like they're being like super mean to them. Have you understood that? I don't understand that.
I've never understood it. I've never understood it.
Okay.
I kind of, with that topic, I kind of can see both sides because,
Hmm.
like you mentioned earlier, we have a lot of power, right? I always say if nurses really understood their power, then we could change things, but we can't even get on the same page a lot of times. We try to organize, or I've seen people try to do things and then it just goes to hell quick.
But I think that,
But
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
I think that one of my things is that I just don't understand. And one of the things that Dr. Connolly talked about is that she said, whenever you have an oppression of a people, then what happens is you start to get lateral violence, right?
Mhm,
So it's
mhm.
the oppression of the nurses. And so you start to have the lateral violence when at the end of the day, I've never understood, well, not why not these nurses over here get upset with the hospital. The hospital is going to take care of the patients, and they're going to
Yes,
do whatever they need to do to take care of the patients.
right.
So at the end of the day, you still need to, and it's going to cost them something to do that, right? So
Exactly.
at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're doing what you need to do in order to get that done. So I still don't understand it, and I think that there has to be a different way of doing things.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
so the hospitals have the ability to settle, and anyone who crosses the line is supporting the boss. And what's often lost is the fact that the hospitals can settle contracts, choosing not to, and they can. But the reality is that they're going to pay whatever they have to pay in order to take care of the patients until they come to that settle point. So
Right.
why go and have an attitude, or be mean,
To
or
the nurse.
exactly. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think that all that energy should be directed at the hospital CEO and the admins, because I don't think it's their fault. That's just like when nurses come in, say travel nurses to an assignment. A lot of the nurses there will not help them. They don't talk to them. They have an attitude with them. And guess why? Because they know that they're making X
more
amount of dollars,
money.
you
When I
know.
mean, they have the
But
ability to do that too.
right. And it's not their fault that it's not the nurse coming in's fault that the facility needed her to come in or him to come in. So take that up with your admin. They should staff appropriately and they won't have to bring travelers in and they won't have to pay them extra money.
But
But
I think it has to do a lot with culture too, and who the culture of your organization. Because I think a lot of times what happens is they have altered cultures, and they've been taught that way. It just is what it is. I mean, we
yeah.
probably could talk about that for to the day is long.
Yes.
And so protecting your nursing license. So let's talk about that. So
Okay. So I think protecting our nursing license is very, very important right now, especially with the way that nursing has gone. We just talked about all the different roles that nurses have. Um, and that makes for a more unorganized, scatterbrain type of day, right? And with the nurses now getting charged and for med errors and things like that, and risking losing their license and having to go to jail and do time. I'm not jail material, I can tell you that right now. So I don't want to be put into a position to where I can cause the error and not only lose my nursing license, my livelihood, but also um, go to jail or prison, because I've been made to take this extra patient or I did not speak up for the unsafe ratios or whatever, is brought upon me. So I think it's important for nurses to make sure that they know um, when there's that line that they need to speak up and say, hey, I don't feel that it's safe for me to take another patient or whatever the case may be, especially with traveling nurses right now. I know there's a lot of new nurses traveling. I particularly don't think that that's a good idea, because when you're out doing an assignment, you pretty much have to know how to swim and keep your head above water and know what you're doing. Because when you go into these facilities, they already upset because you're there. They're already upset because you're making X amount of dollars more than they are, and they're not going to help you. So it's good to already have that foundation and that skill set and that time management, and have that experience so that you can stay afloat without assistance from somebody else. And you're able to protect your license, and not only protect your license, but protect your patients that you're assigned to. I think a lot of people are looking at the dollar amount, but make sure your skills are up to par when you're traveling, because, that can cost you your license.
I think that, one of the things that we do say a lot, and I do say it as well, is protecting your license. But at the end of the day, we are talking about protecting our patients, because the problem is that we, the problem is, I'm sorry. Someone on LinkedIn said I was on the floor until my back popped. Became an informatics nurse, no nights, no weekends, holidays, no COVID-19 politics.
Nice.
I know. So, but yeah, protecting our nursing license is definitely about protecting our patients, because at the end of the day, the reason why the nursing board is there, and this is one thing that I was enlightened upon when I first went to the North Carolina Nurses Board of Nursing, is that they said, we're not here for the nurses, we're here for the patients.
Exactly.
Be clear about that. Be clear about what they're there for. And so whenever they snatch your license, it is because they're there for the patient.
Yes.
So, and I also understand as well that we need to be very clear on the fact that I understand what you're saying about those new nurses that are coming in, because it is tough. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough for me to know exactly what the policies and procedures are in my own unit. That's the reason why I've never traveled. And before I, of course, I don't work for the hospital anymore. I have my own business. But before then, I was like, I'm not traveling. I don't know anything about that policy. I have a hard time trying to figure out the ones here. Okay. Right. And then I had to learn multiple policies. Ain't nobody got time.
And the scary thing, Dr. V, is that they don't know. A lot of the newer nurses don't know what a safe ratio is. They don't know how on a 30-bed unit, we would have 6 nurses on med surg, only have 5 patients each, and have 3 CNAs to help.
Oh, wow.
That's how it used to be.
That's good.
At the hospital. It's not like that anymore, And so now that they're making them take 7 and 8 patients in acute care, and the newer nurses don't know that this is really not what it should be. PCU, I hear, are taking 5 and 6 patients. That's step down from ICU. Those patients are still sick. Like my specialty is ICU, and we used to float to PCU. And at the time when I did PCU, which has not been that long ago, we took only 3 patients. Now they have 5 and 6 patients, so the newer nurses don't really know, I think and I worked a little bit as charge nurse and also as assistant nurse manager. So that kind of put me, I had the ear here listening to the higher ups and also for the nurses. And from that experience, I know that they really don't care about the staff. They just want the people, the patients, and want somebody to take care of them. And it's sad because patients are at risk when we have excessive amount of patients. So.
And I've said this before, I heard one CNO say it is not our job to make the staff happy, when the reality it is that is your only job. As a matter of fact, that's one of your biggest jobs, is to make the staff happy. Because if you make the staff happy, then what happens is the staff takes care of your patients. You have less lawsuits. You have less, because they're the ones that are at the bedside. CEOs talking about, well, we want great patient satisfaction. You ain't seen a patient. What you talking about? Okay.
I know.
You need to make your staff happy. I mean, because
like, how do you want
down. Go ahead.
How do you want satisfaction when you don't even have the staff to satisfy these people?
Exactly. I mean, you can't. There's no way in the world. The decimation of support staff is a huge issue, and hospitals have made record profits in the last 3 years at the cost of proper patient care. And that's what Nurse Adrienne said. And that's true. And the reality is that, I remember going into meetings and it being said, thank you for controlling your staff ratios. I'm like, that's never a good idea. It's never a good idea. I don't care how it goes. So now, creating multiple streams of income. We're going to talk about this too. So this is a great conversation. So multiple streams of income. So tell us a little bit about how you're doing that.
So currently, and I started this I actually started in 2016, just because of nursing. I'm like, I really don't want to do bedside for the rest of my life. I'm good at a number of things. And even though I was a little bit afraid and I wasn't too sure how to start a nonprofit or how to start a business, I did it scared. Joyce Myers always say, no matter what it is you want to do it scared if you have to, because fear can cripple you and just keep you stagnant. So I started with my first business, which was the nonprofit and a t-shirt business. And I think that it's important for nurses to tap into what they're good at. A lot of nurses have so many talents, and they could utilize those talents and those skills to have their own business. That way, when they're ready to, pull out, or maybe they get burned out from nursing, they have their own stream of income, and the way things are so expensive right now, you go to the grocery store, everything is expensive. Like, it doesn't make sense to not have an extra stream of income, where you'll just be enslaved to nursing and taking those high ratios and taking those, or getting burnout at the bedside, not taking your PTO, being denied PTO, can't take your vacation, you can't take a holiday off, and different things like that. So I just think it's important for nurses to tap into starting, some type of other streams of income.
I think that one of the things that you said about not taking your PTO, and sometimes you're denied the PTO, but I think that as well, there are times when people just don't take their PTO. And it's a very important. And one of the things that I did when I worked for someone else is that I would take a vacation every 3 months. Now I started working in my own business and I stopped doing that. And then I had to get back to it, because the more now, for those people out there that ain't doing the work, okay, this is not for you. Okay, this is not for you. This is for the people out there that are rolling it and working it out, right? So work. And then I needed to have at least a week just to settle, right? You don't think about that when you're in your own business. You think I got to go. But you got to pull back, sit down, have some thinking time, and then go back at it hard. Because when you pull back, the further you can go. And
Mm-hmm.
so understanding that is key, but also understanding that multiple streams of income as well, so that you can walk in there with a different attitude. You can
Yeah.
walk in there, and Ariana says this all the time, walk in there with a different type of space, like, I don't know what y'all got going on here, but, and offering, number one, offering a premium service. Number two, offering transformation and
Mm-hmm.
serving at your highest level, no matter what.
Right.
That those are key ingredients for you to have an amazing business.
I agree.
Amazing business. So
I
I
agree.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So now we're gonna talk about your CPR business. So
All
tell us
right.
a little bit about that.
Okay, so I have my business is Real Compressions Fast CPR and Training. It's under my consulting firm, which I offer consulting to help other people start their own CPR business as well. Um, but in the CPR business, so I teach um, CPR AED and first aid. I teach BLS. Um, ACLS and PAL certification. So I offer those through American Heart, but I'm also an instructor for American Red Cross and new instructor for ASHI as well. So um, I offer those, and I actually love it. I get a chance to, like I said, create my own schedule, which I love because I've been working since I was 14 years old on somebody else's schedule, telling me when I need to come to work, when I can get off, when I can take off for a vacation, and if I could take off. So it feels a little liberating to be able to make your own schedule and take off when you want to take off. Thankfully, I don't have my kids aren't really small anymore, but I remember times when I dropped my kids off, sick kids, to my aunt to watch while I went to work. You know, not proud of that now, but I'm older now and I know better now. I would not do that again for a job.
That's
But
right.
I'm just having my own business. Like I said, I went into it, scared. I did it scared. But when I look back at it now, I'm like, wow, what if I had
Mhm.
let fear just stop me? You know, I've already this year, I had a goal of a certain amount that I wanted to make. And I'm already like $6,000 over that for the year.
Sweet.
So I'm
Sweet.
really, just thankful, that I've been able to do it and that I didn't let fear stop me. And not only that, I think when you have your own business, you have to be consistent. Consistency is key because sometimes we may, I may not have a student, but next week I may have 20 students.
But you're
So
still making content on TikTok, right? No matter
yeah,
what. And if
yes,
nobody shows up, then you still making content. You're still being
exactly.
consistent, right?
So just being consistent, and things are gonna come. It may not come. Everybody wants stuff to be done quick, you know. But it takes time and it takes consistency on our part. And I always tell, because I offer the instructor course to other nurses and that want to get into this business. And I always tell them, you know, you can do this. But I think what, like you talked about earlier, you're saying delivering service. That's so important because whether I have one student or 6 students in a class, I'm going to teach that one student just as well as I would if I had 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're going to leave there with the same quality training, the same type of service that I give, even if it's just one sitting in there. So,
I'm gonna say something about a few things that you said. So first of all, you said fear, and so I don't want my listeners to come after me. Don't come for me, okay? Because fear is. This is what someone said to me one time. They said fear is not real, and it's not. It's not. It's something that you've made up in your mind
mm-hmm.
that you are lacking, and you can either make excuses or you can execute. One of the two.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, you talk about consistency. Consistency separates one-hit wonders from all-time greats. Period.
Hmm.
Point blank in the story. And just like you were consistently putting content on TikTok, regardless, okay, regardless, which is where we met, regardless of where, because had you not consistently done that, we wouldn't have never met. Now you wouldn't be elevating your services here. So where can people find you?
So they can find me actually on my TikTok. I have a link there that they can contact me.
Okay. And
Um,
what's your TikTok? Tell them the handle.
it is I am Drumeka, the
Okay.
boss nurse.
Okay. Cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool.
And then my website for anybody that is interested in starting their own CPR business, I offer courses, the instructor course, and you can reach me there at my website is www.realcompressionsfast.com.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. So thank you, thank you, thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us. It's amazing. So
Thanks
we
for
will
having
have a master class. Our master class is going to be free of charge. You just have to join our Facebook group. It's 7 ways to monetize as a nurse coach. Number 1. It's going to be December 7th, 2022. But if you want to upgrade and you want to ask me questions, then you can upgrade for $97. And that you can go wherever. I'm everywhere.
Okay.
At vpnursing.com or on Facebook at Viola Pierce. And of course, the links are in the bio. Also, we will be having our nurse 6-figure CEO conference. Is going to be coming up February 24th and 25th. We have early bird pricing that's on now until November 30th. So you want to jump on that until November 30th. The prices will go up after then. And then we will see you guys later today. All right. You guys have a phenomenal rest of your day.
Thank you.